power of contemplation is the thing that most people haven't harnessed yet. And when you harness it in your life, there's absolutely no limit to what you can attract into your life. If you absolutely stay focused on what it is that you know you're going to manifest and attract, you're not going to do it in your time. You know, Jackson Browne sings a song, he says, and creation reveals its secrets by and by. I mean, you can't push the river. You can't, it's all done in divine time, but it will show. It will show. It will manifest. It will attract itself. And I'm never surprised any longer about anything that I put my thoughts on that I can attract it into my life. I just absolutely know that law of attraction and that it absolutely works. And I have absolutely no doubt about it. And I feel as if, like, before I even came into this world, when I was in the world of spirit, that I had a conversation with God. And it was God saying to me, like, what would you like to do in this lifetime? And I said, well, I'd really like to spend a lifetime teaching self-reliance. Because that's truly all I've ever done since the time I was just a little boy, through all my life. I mean, I could just go through all of the things that I've done. It's been always about teaching self-reliance. And God said, it's like, you're sure you want to spend a whole lifetime teaching self-reliance? I said, yeah, that's what I want to do. And he said, well, we better get your little ass into an orphanage then. You know? It feels like bewilderment. It feels like awe. It feels like, even as I think about it now, I can feel myself tearing up behind my eyes, because only I know what is going on behind my eyeballs. It feels like so glorious and so sweet and so trusting, so knowing. You know, there's just this powerful knowing that you're not alone. There's this, you know, that it's like there's a safety, there's a sense of that you're not alone. I had this great experience years ago. There's a friend of mine, he's on KTAR, radio station in Phoenix. His name's Pat McMahon, Irish Catholic guy. And Mother Teresa is to be his guest, right, on the same day that I'm his guest. So we're in the studio, you know, and Mother Teresa comes in. Now she's about 4'10", maybe weighs 80 pounds. And she's there to talk about a homeless shelter that she slept in the night before, to tell the people of Phoenix about this homeless shelter. And I'm there to talk about a book that I don't know which one it was. It was 10, 15 years ago. So Pat tells Mother Teresa, is there anything that I can do for you? And you can imagine the bewilderment and the awe that this is an Irish Catholic guy from, you know, living in Phoenix, and Mother Teresa, a saint, is coming there, and you know, he's just bewildered. He's beyond bewildered. He just doesn't know what to do with himself. He's just so honored. And he says, is there anything I can do for you? Is there anything I can do? And she said, no. She said, I just came here to talk about the homeless shelter. He said, but Mother Teresa, he said, we have a 50,000 watt clear channel station that goes in every direction. And it's like he's got his ego involved. Like we can help you to raise a lot of money for your work and your mission in Calcutta. And she said, no, I'm not interested in raising money or your radio station getting a. She said, I just want to talk about the homeless shelter, that's all. And he's exasperated. And finally he's down on his knees, really. And finally she says, stand up. She said, you seem so serious. She said, there is one thing that you can do. And he just stood up and he said, well, what is it? I'd do anything. She said, well, tomorrow morning, she said, get up at 4 a.m. And she said, and go out onto the streets of Phoenix and find someone who's living there, who believes that he's alone, and convince him that he's not. That's what you can do. There's a place within me that knows that I'm not separate from any of that. That if there's no place that God is not, or that source is not, or the energy that provides, that is always giving and always creating is not, if there's no place that it is not, then it has to be in me. I know that. And if there's no place that is not, and it has to be in me, it has to be also in everything that is missing in my life, or that I think is missing. It's there too. So that in some mysterious, invisible way, I'm already connected to everything that's missing in my life through something called spirit. And when I recognized that I'm not here as this human being having a spiritual experience. When you recognize that your essence is that you are a spiritual being having a human experience, not the other way around. When you really get that, I mean, not that you can say it and it's clever, but when you know that who you are is this essence, you don't see, there's no other, there's no them. There's nothing outside of you. You're connected to everyone and everything. As the Native Americans, you'd say that no tree has branches so foolish as to fight among themselves. Conflicts become something that are no longer present because conflict requires two-ness. In order to have a conflict, you have to have two different opinions or whatever. But if you live in oneness, if you really see yourself in everyone else, see yourself in all the things, including the plants, including the animals, and including all beings and so on. If you just suspend this ego part of you and just see yourself in that other person, then your arguments are really with yourself, and your hatreds are really about yourself. And you begin to really see that I don't have to project anything onto anyone else that isn't what I choose to be. You get bit by a snake, and you're bit, okay? But the bite doesn't kill you. You're still there, you don't die from a snake bite. You don't die from you don't get hurt from what somebody else does to you. It's the venom that continues to pour through your system after the bite. That's what causes difficulties in relationships and so on. Think about someone in your life that abused you, abandoned you, that did something without any details. I don't want to know any of the details. Yeah. And you are hurt by it, and you are angry about it. And forget about whether you've forgiven them or not. I want you to just think about getting even with them. I want you to think about revenge, okay? I'm going to get even with that person, no matter what, okay? And put your arm out, and can you hold on to that thought of revenge, okay? I'm going to get even with that person for what they did. I'm angry at them. And hold on to that thought and just think, resist me as hard as you can. And notice what's happening with your arm. Resist, again, one more time. Think that thought. I'm really going to get angry. I'm really pissed. I'm really hurt. I'm going to get you back for that, okay? And resist me as hard as you can. Now notice what's happening here. You have almost no strength. I'm not even pushing down. Now I want you to just change the thought. Okay. I want you to change the thought right now. And I want you to change it to one of love and forgiveness. I just want you to surround them with the light of God. I want you to surround them with the most beautiful love that you can think of. And just think of that thought. They did what they knew how to do, given the conditions of their life. I can't ask any more of anybody than that. Put your arm out. Put your arm out. Resist me as hard as you can, and forgive them in your heart. And forgive them in your heart. Now get even, get angry, I'm going to get really even with them, and watch what happens. Can you see the change? Okay. That's how it works. You see? Every thought you have of shame, every thought you have of anger, every thought you have of revenge is a thought that weakens you. Every muscle in your body, it's even in your eye.
Well, I think, even I couldn't look at you when my attention
I could see the shift. Your heart is a muscle, isn't it? How many times do we say to our children, you should be ashamed of yourself? Think of, here, watch, put your arm up. Resist me as hard as you can. Think of a moment in your life when you felt great love. The greatest love you ever felt in your life. Just think of that moment. And I don't want to know anything about it, just think about who it was, okay? Can you think of a moment like that? Great love. Michael is just loved, okay? And look, I can't budge you, right? I'm pushing really hard. Now think of a moment when you felt shame. You just did something and you're just ashamed of it, whatever it was, okay? You think of something like that? Okay. Resist me as hard as you can. You're thinking shame, and just watch what happens to your arm. Look. No matter how hard you try, you have no strength, do you? You have no strength, okay? Now think love. Think love. Just think of that moment and shift. You see the change? Now think shame.
I'm trying hard.
Yeah. Think shame. Just think of shame. You're ashamed. You're really ashamed. Whatever you did, you're really ashamed. You really screwed up, okay? Resist me. Look, you have no strength. Look, you can't. When you go weak, you're going against your Tao nature. Your true nature is not revenge. Your true nature is not hatred. You came from love. And you have to stay in that state. And once you learn that, once you get that, having that demonstrated could change your life. Just that moment can change forever.